Welcome back to the channel Golden Hyra Coin everyone to another exciting video where today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of United States coins and uncovering the hidden treasure behind one special piece that many people may overlook every single day. We are talking about the Liberty Quarter Dollar from the year 1996 with the Philadelphia Mint Mark P. At first glance, this coin may look like an ordinary quarter that you would find in your pocket change or stuck between your couch cushions, but the truth is some examples of this coin have been valued in the collector's market for an incredible $442. That is right, a 25-cent piece minted in 1996 could potentially be worth nearly 500 times its face value. So let us travel back in time to really understand the story of this coin. The 1996 quarter belongs to the Washington Quarter series, which has been in circulation since 1932. Originally designed to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the coin features the familiar profile of Washington on the obverse side, with the word Liberty inscribed above his head and the phrase "In God We Trust" standing proudly beside him. The reverse design at that time still carried the majestic eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath it, symbolizing both strength and peace. Now by 1996 the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters, making them seem like a very common coin. But coin collectors know that not all quarters are created equal. What makes the 1996 P Liberty Quarter special is the combination of its condition, its strike quality, and certain rare varieties that stand out among the ordinary circulation strikes. In pristine condition, graded by professional services at the highest levels such as Mint State 67 or Mint State 68, the coin becomes dramatically more valuable. These high-grade examples are extremely rare because most coins from everyday circulation acquire scratches, nicks, and wear that immediately lower their grade. Finding one in superb condition is like discovering a needle in a haystack. Imagine holding a coin that was struck nearly 3 decades ago, and yet looks as if it just left the minting press yesterday. No blemishes, no dullness, only sharp details of Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and brilliant luster across the surface. This is the kind of specimen that coin grading companies value so highly, and this is where the market has rewarded collectors with prices reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Beyond condition, collectors also search for errors and varieties in the 1996 P Liberty Quarter. Sometimes coins are struck with doubled dies where the lettering or images appear slightly doubled due to a die misalignment during minting. Other times there are off-center strikes or planchet errors which create unusual appearances that set the coin apart. Each of these errors makes the coin unique and drives up collector interest. The thrill of finding one of these error coins in your change is what excites treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts around the world. Let's talk about the actual market value. While the average worn 1996 P quarter is still worth only 25 cents, collectors have paid extraordinary premiums for flawless examples. Auction records show that when these coins are preserved in mint state condition with top grades, they have sold for as much as $442. That means if you happen to stumble upon one of these rarities in your collection or in an old jar of coins at home, you could be holding on to a small fortune without even realizing it. But it is not only about the money. The beauty of coin collecting lies in the history and the stories behind each piece. The 1996 P Liberty Quarter tells us about America during the 1990s, a time before the 50 States Quarters program began in 1999. It represents the last years of the traditional Washington Eagle reverse design before the United States Mint shifted to showcasing the individuality of each state. In this way, the 1996 P quarter is part of a closing chapter of classic American coinage, making it even more desirable for collectors who want to preserve a piece of history. When you hold this coin, you are not just holding metal. You are holding a symbol of liberty, a portrait of the nation's first president, and an eagle that has represented the strength of the United States for decades. Combine that symbolism with the possibility of financial value and you have a coin that is much more than loose change. So next time you receive a handful of quarters, do not overlook the dates. Always check for 1996 and look closely for the Mint Mark P. Examine the surfaces, the luster, and the details. Who knows, maybe you will come across a high-grade example that could change a simple coin hunt into a profitable discovery. Collectors from all around the world are constantly seeking these gems, and the demand is strong because only a limited number of flawless examples survive. That is why the value has reached hundreds of dollars and could even continue to rise as the years go by and as fewer pristine examples remain available. The lesson here is clear: coins are history, art, and hidden treasure all rolled into one. A coin that most people would toss into a vending machine might actually be a rare collectible capable of paying your bills, starting your collection, or even inspiring you to dive deeper into the numismatic world. If you are just getting started in coin collecting, the 1996 P Liberty quarter dollar is the perfect example of why you should always be on the lookout. It teaches us that rarity is not always about mintage numbers alone, but also about condition, survival, and collector demand. And it shows us that every coin has a story waiting to be told. So the next time you see a quarter shining back at you, take a moment, flip it over, check that date, and remember the hidden potential in the 1996 P Liberty quarter dollar. Because one day, that small piece of change in your pocket could turn out to be a treasure worth $442 or more. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the value and history of the 1996 P Liberty quarter dollar. If you enjoyed learning about this hidden gem in American coinage, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, and share this video with fellow collectors and treasure hunters. Who knows, your next coin find might be the discovery of a lifetime. Would you like me to also write a shorter, hook intro, around 30 to 40 seconds, for your video? Something punchy that grabs viewers right away before this long script plays out? Today we are diving deep into the history, the details, and the market value of one very special coin that collectors around the globe are talking about, the 1990 D Liberty quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin might just look like an ordinary quarter that you would find in your change after buying a coffee or a snack. But believe me, once you understand its story, its background, and its incredible value on the collector's market, you will never look at this coin the same way again. Some of these coins have been valued at hundreds of dollars, with certain pristine examples being estimated at around $442, making them a true hidden treasure sitting in plain sight. Now let us start with the basics. The quarter dollar is one of the most popular and widely circulated coins in the United States. The 1990 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is why it carries the small letter D mint mark on the front, just to the right of Washington's portrait. The obverse design, the front of the coin, features the profile of George Washington, the very first president of the United States, a design that has been used since 1932 to celebrate his 200th birthday. Above his head you see the word liberty, reminding us of the core values that the nation was built upon. To the left is the motto "In God We Trust," and at the bottom is the date, 1990. Making this specific issue part of a very interesting period in modern American coinage. Turning over to the reverse side of the coin, you will find the majestic image of a bald eagle with its wings spread, clutching arrows in its talons, symbolizing strength, power, and defense, while the olive branches beneath represent peace. Around the eagle you will read the words United States of America and the denomination quarter dollar. This classic reverse design had been used for decades before the state quarters program eventually replaced it in 1999, which makes the 1990 quarter one of the last issues in the long-running Washington quarter eagle design series before major changes swept through. Now you might be wondering, if millions of these coins were minted, what makes the 1990 D Liberty quarter so valuable and so interesting to coin collectors today? The answer lies in condition, rarity of certain varieties, and the overall demand in the numismatic market. While the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year, most of them entered circulation immediately and were heavily used in daily transactions. That means finding a coin today that is still in mint state condition, with no scratches, no wear, and full sharp details, is becoming increasingly rare. Professional coin grading companies often assign these high-grade coins a special value, and when they are preserved in pristine quality, their prices can skyrocket. One of the most fascinating things about the 1990 D Liberty quarter is that in some cases, coins with errors or unusual striking details have turned out to be incredibly valuable. Collectors always keep an eye out for things like off-center strikes, doubled dies, weak strikes, or even planchet flaws. These are small minting mistakes that happen during production but survive circulation, and because they are so rare, collectors are willing to pay big money to add them to their collection. Some era coins from this year have already sold for hundreds of dollars, and if you happen to have one in your collection, it could be worth even more. The market value of the 1990 Liberty Quarter also depends on its grade. For example, a typical circulated coin that you find in your pocket change might only be worth its face value of 25 cents. However, if you find a coin that has been preserved in uncirculated mint state condition, then we are talking about values that can easily go from several dollars up into the hundreds. At the highest grading levels, where the coin shines with its original luster and shows no signs of handling, the market has seen values around $442. That is an incredible jump for something that started out as just 25 cents. Think about that for a moment. You could be holding a coin in your hand that most people overlook, yet in the right condition, that very same coin could be worth hundreds of times its face value. This is why so many collectors and treasure hunters go through their change and their old coin jars, searching for coins like the 1990 quarter. It is the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovering a rare and valuable piece of history hiding among the ordinary coins of daily life. But beyond the monetary value, this coin also carries a rich historical importance. It represents a moment in time, the end of the 1980s and the start of a new decade, when America was experiencing change in politics, economy, and culture. Coins are not just money, they are tiny pieces of history that pass through countless hands, each carrying a story of their own. The 1990 Liberty Quarter is a reminder of that, connecting us to a larger heritage while also offering us the potential of a financial reward if we are lucky enough to find the right one. So what should you do if you come across a 1990 Liberty Quarter? First, check the coin carefully. Look at the condition. Is it heavily worn, or does it still shine with mint luster? Examine the details on Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the edges of the coin. The sharper the details, the higher the grade. Then, check for any unusual features such as doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or any signs of a mint error. If you believe you have a coin that looks unusual or is in excellent condition, it might be worth sending it to a professional grading service. This step can transform a coin from being worth just a few dollars to being valued in the hundreds. Collectors are always searching for high-grade examples of the 1990 quarter, and as time goes on, fewer and fewer uncirculated coins remain in existence. This scarcity drives up demand and increases the market value even further. In fact, many experts believe that in the coming years, the value of such coins will continue to rise as more people get interested in coin collecting and as more coins disappear from circulation. In conclusion, the 1990 Liberty Quarter dollar is far more than just a piece of loose change. It is a collectible treasure with a fascinating design, a strong historical connection, and the potential to be worth hundreds of dollars in today's market. With some examples already fetching around $442, this coin proves that hidden gems are still out there, waiting to be discovered in everyday life. So keep your eyes open, search through your change, and never underestimate the value of the coins in your pocket. You just might have a rare and valuable piece of American history right in your hands. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed learning about the history and value of the 1990 Liberty Quarter, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, hidden treasures, and the fascinating world of numismatics. Would you like me to also make you a shorter, punchier version of this script designed for keeping YouTube audiences hooked in the first 30 to 60 seconds? Today we are going to talk about a coin that many people overlook, a coin that most of us have seen and maybe even spent without thinking twice, but this very coin has a story, a history, and in some cases a value that can completely surprise you. I am talking about the 1997 Liberty Quarter dollar. Now, before we dive into the value, let's step back in time and understand why this coin is so special. The year was 1997. The United States Mint was still producing the Washington quarter design that had Been in circulation since 1932. This classic design features the famous profile of George Washington on the obverse side, the very first president of the United States, symbol of leadership, freedom, and the fight for independence. And on the reverse side we see the proud bald eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows and olive branches in its talons, a symbol of strength and peace. The 1997 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is why you will see the small D Mint mark right below the motto "I in God We Trust." On the obverse side, the Denver Mint produced millions of these quarters, but here is the key: not all coins are created equal. Most of the coins were struck for everyday circulation, used in shops, gas stations, vending machines, and passed from hand to hand. But hidden among these ordinary coins there are some examples that are far from ordinary. The 1997 D Liberty quarter dollar, an exceptional condition with sharp details, full luster, and no signs of wear, can be worth much more than its face value. Collectors and investors in the coin world are constantly searching for high-quality specimens, and when such coins appear they can bring strong prices in the market. Now you might be wondering what makes a simple 25-cent coin worth hundreds of dollars. The answer lies in rarity, demand, and above all condition. The grading of a coin plays a huge role in its value. When a 1997 D quarter is graded by a professional service and it receives a very high grade, for example Mint State 67 or Mint State 68, then it becomes a rare prize. Coins like this can sell for hundreds of dollars, and in some reported cases top grade examples have reached market values as high as $442. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1997 D quarter that you might still find in pocket change could be worth over $400 in the right condition. Collectors love these coins because they represent the last years of the traditional Washington Eagle reverse design. Remember that just 2 years later, in 1999, the United States Mint launched the famous 50-state quarters program, which completely changed the look of quarters forever. So the 1997 quarter stands at the end of an era, the last breath of a design that had been a part of American coinage for over 6 decades. Now let us talk about eras, because era coins are another fascinating reason why the 1997 D quarter can be worth big money. Sometimes when coins are struck, mistakes happen at the mint, and these errors can create unique, one-of-a-kind coins. Some 1997 D quarters may show double die obverse where the lettering looks doubled. Others may have off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, and some might even have planchet errors or missing clad layers. When collectors find these unusual varieties, the prices can skyrocket, and that is when a coin that normally might be worth only $1 or $2 suddenly sells for hundreds. Imagine going through a handful of change from the grocery store and spotting a 1997 D quarter with brilliant uncirculated shine, or maybe a visible minting error that catches your eye. You might be holding a tiny treasure without even knowing it. This is why coin collectors always say check your change. So what should you look for when searching for a valuable 1997 D Liberty quarter dollar? First, check the condition. If the coin still has its original mint luster, no scratches, no wear, and crisp details, it might be worth grading. Second, look for the mint mark, that little D below Washington's portrait tells you it came from Denver. Then study the coin carefully under good light to see if you notice any doubling in the lettering on the words Liberty or I in God We Trust. Check the date and check the eagle on the reverse side. Look for missing details or unusual strike patterns, and if you ever find an error coin, that is where the real jackpot lies. For today's market, the value of a 1997 D Liberty quarter dollar can range from just a few cents over face value for worn examples up to tens or even hundreds of dollars for mint state coins. And as I mentioned, some of the very finest examples in top condition have been auctioned for around $442. That is why coin collectors consider this coin worth hunting for. It is a reminder that hidden treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered in everyday pocket change. Beyond the value, the 1997 D Liberty quarter is also a piece of history. It connects us to the classic design of Washington and the eagle, one of the most enduring designs in American numismatics. When you hold one of these coins, you are not just holding a piece of change, you are holding a fragment of American history, a piece of art struck in metal that tells the story of liberty's strength and tradition. So the next time you get quarters in your change, do not just drop them in a jar. Take a closer look. That 1997 D quarter might just be your ticket to discovering a small fortune. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed learning about the 1997 D Liberty $0.25, its value, its history, and the possibility that it could be worth much more than 25 cents. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and share it with your friends, because who knows, one of them might already have a valuable coin hiding in their wallet. Keep searching, keep collecting, and keep the history alive, because every coin has a story, and some coins just might change your life. Would you like me to also create 150 catchy YouTube video titles with this time only focused on the 1997 Liberty Quarter, so your channel has many options to choose from?